There's till Ben. I'm a Valentine. What is up, everybody? I'm a Valentine here. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my room. It is after work. I am sleepy and tired, but there was one point today that something was mentioned that just kind of reminded me of this topic, and I just wanted to bring my own theory because I was kind of saying this theory just talking to someone today, and I could tell that there was more here than could really be understood in that moment, but there's more to even dig into, and I haven't heard this from someone, so I'm just gonna speak on what I see, and I'm sure there's people who think and perceive like me as well. And this could even help some people with managing their discernment when it comes to interacting with people. So, hoteps, right? The quintessential man who, he's trying to be conscious. He's trying to find power again from the disenfranchisement and disempowering world that we live in. Being a black man in America, obviously, a very difficult thing to do. I mean, even though you're literally just existing. So oftentimes they'll, be they take a lot of interest in Africa and things that have to do with Africa. What I've seen a lot of times is that they'll find a religion that they feel aligns with them. And they will take all the aspects that make them feel more empowered, right? And on some intersectionality type shit, I often see these same men become extremely anti-women. They can be really serious haters of women, and they pigeonhole women into this box that makes it easy for them to manage, and tell women that they should be manageable and that they should be easy to manage and that they should be submissive and that they should serve a man. And an example of this that I see is Dr. Umar. There's people who take everything that he says seriously. I remember I had an Uber driver one time who he brought him up, and I couldn't remember why. I can't remember if something was playing with Dr. Umar or maybe it was Juneteenth was coming up, and they literally had invited Dr. Umar out in Charlotte at Juneteenth a couple years ago. And I think I had mentioned it, something about that. I can't remember how he came up, but it probably was that. And then he was like, yeah, I really love Dr. Umar. And I was like, you mean because he's funny, right? He's funny. He's like, no, I mean, I really do know what he be saying though. And I'm like, okay, I can hear you on some stuff, but the stuff he says about women is wild. And the guy's like, no, I really love what he says because he really is right a lot of times, right? And I think that where it's dangerous is just there's some people who don't have that their own critical thinking engaged. Because for me, I don't perceive it as some people can't think critically. Is that they're not engaging with that in themselves. They don't have that turned on, right? So it's the people that are going to just fall in line with you, they call them the sheeple. They call them the sheep. The people that they're not going to think for themselves. They're going to be like, yeah, that makes sense. You know what? Let's go with that. And then they'll just go with you for everything. They don't take anything with a grain of salt. They're just going to be like, well, I like Dr. Umar. So yeah, if he says that women, should know how to cook and should know how to serve a man and that they don't need to be leading, then yeah, let's go with that. And they just go with it. There's not a part of themselves, they're not in touch with the part of their spirit that would be telling them hey, something here is not right. They just don't engage with that part of themselves. So it's just I find it super jarring, super off-putting. I feel unsafe. As soon as he said that, I felt unsafe. Thankfully we were all almost to my house. But yeah, it's creepy. I find being around men who are like that and just don't think for themselves. They don't create these distinctions to hey, I can listen to someone who is conscious, and I know when to draw the line where it's hey, these things that he says about black people being uplifted, I love, and that's wonderful. And when he starts to talk disparagingly about women and about black women, that's when I know, hey, this is some bullshit and I don't agree with that. So I don't agree with absolutely everything that this person says, but I see often a lot of men who they will just go with whatever someone says, and it's just jarring. Another thing, my beef and grief with hoteps is what I call a grand risings ass motherfucker. It's like a meme term, right? Because it, it can be silly sometimes, like just hearing people that are super intentional about like the wording, though it is understandable of like why you are being intentional about the words you say, because it's like we're using, like, there's a belief that we're casting spells, which honestly I hear that like 100, I really do hear that, and like I think there is some truth to that, and there's some nuance here. I want us to notice this nuance. I'm not saying that the words that we say aren't important and that we might not be casting spells. Oh, my camera's dying. But I'm also not saying that, I pray that I can get through this video. We'll see. I'm also not saying that there is sometimes where we might be saying a word, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're bringing that exact thing into reality. Like, for example, I say, oh, I'm dead, like, it's, like, I'm weak, I'm dead. And, like, on the one hand, again, nuance, on the one hand, maybe not the best thing to say because we don't want to bring that intention on me, right? We don't want that to be brought into the self. And on the other hand, there has to be a level of understanding, like, hey, this is a popular phrase, and when it is said, I know what is trying to be said. Like, I understand what is trying to be conveyed through those words, right? What irks me is when people choose to not understand what's being conveyed. One of the biggest ones is grand risings. Like, the whole thing about, like, we're not mourning anything they want us to be mourning. So, like, some people say grand risings, and it's like, I don't have a problem with people saying grand risings inherently, but it's just sometimes, like, it has almost become a signifier of someone who is, like, on that hotep wave. Again, not to say everyone that says shit, sometimes I say grand risings, but I say it in jest. Like, I say it kind of like, oh, grand risings, ha, it's funny. And also, like, there are people who say it who, like, I really get that they're being super holistic and they're, like, really on that wave of, like, caring about what they say. And I'm not talking about all of these people, but the person that even made me think about it was this guy who had, like, come in, we were, like, closing, and he was, like, talking about all this stuff, saying something like peace and blessings and all this, and I was just like, you're here after we're closed. Like, you're literally still here after we're closed. And he was, like, asking for a lot and, like, doing a lot when it was just, like, we're literally supposed to be closed right now, and you're, like, doing a lot. And then at the end, you're, like, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Meanwhile, it's like you chose to, like, you're so, like, locked into your state of reality, and you're thinking, because I say peace and blessings, that's what I'm giving. When it's like, no, you actually are causing a lack of peace right now because you're not engaging with that social awareness to see, hey, I'm actually, one, making these people uncomfortable. If I were to, like, peep their expressions, they're having to manage them because, you know, we can try to hide our emotions, but if you're really, like, viewing people, if you're really looking at people, looking at the body language, it's like, no matter how much you act, we can also feel. Like, even if you can't fucking see it on somebody's face, you can feel someone's energy. So you can feel, hey, what is this tension I'm feeling in the room? Oh, this place closed at 9, like they just said. Maybe I need to get the fuck up out of here instead of asking all these questions to this girl that's trying to make my drink. And it wasn't even me that was making the drink. Like, I was cleaning, I was doing something else. And again, it's not even to say that this was, like, a huge deal, but again, this person is what I would qualify as a grand risings ass motherfucker. You're saying peace and blessings, and yet you're not socially seeing what's around you. Like, it would have been different if he was like, hey, like, I know I hold you guys up a little bit. I really appreciate you engaging with me and, like, making this for me and helping me out with this and giving me this free extra drink. But that's not what he said. You know what I mean? It was like, there's this like way of being locked in and like only seeing what you want to see sometimes, and I associate that with that hotepism, the grand rising ass motherfucker ism, and I don't fuck with it, and I don't like it. I actually really don't like it. Again, not the grand risings thing specifically. Like, there's plenty of people who I really like that do say grand risings. I know like there's yoga communities that like say grand risings, and again, I recognize the intention behind the saying grand rising specifically, and again, I recognize the importance of choosing your words with purpose. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about this very specific association with men who they like to pull and pick and choose what they want to use, but then the actual thing that they're giving to the world, they might be saying peace and blessings, but they take the things that they say as if the things that they say are more powerful than their actual impact on the world and on the people around them, even in small ways, both in small ways and large ways. And again, another example of that is Dr. Umar. Like, the things that he says about women and the things that he believes about women that he projects onto his large black male audience about women, horrifying, jarring. It's like really terrible. And it's like, it's okay if you can enjoy it and have some understanding of like the line. Like, there's plenty of actors and actresses like me. I don't drink, right? Like, I can watch a movie where people are drinking wine and know, hey, just because they're drinking that wine, I'm not gonna drink it. But not everybody's able to like filter in that way, and I feel like that's where it becomes dangerous and highly dislikable, which is why I just dislike it. So since my camera's dying, I'm just gonna end it there. Much love. If you have any questions, comment below. Yeah, much love, y'all. See you in the next video. Bye.